Hey everyone, I'm your astrologer Wonder Girl, helping you to live in tune with the natural cycles of the moon. This is your astrology horoscope for the full moon in Aries, which happens on Wednesday, October 20th, 2021 at 10:57 a.m. Eastern Time or 7:57 a.m. Pacific Time. Now, what I think this full moon is really all about is about us feeling like a new and different person with a lot more energy, if you will, now that we have fixed a lot of things from the past that were keeping us from being happy in a new space in life. And it is some of us, because we're feeling this new energy, being really effective at getting a lot of things done that it is that we need and fixing even more things from the past. And there are others of us who may get run over a little bit by this energy and get a little bit overwhelmed and frustrated by just how different things now are becoming. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. If you want to hear more about that, please stay tuned because we're going to hop into it right now. Before I get into the details though, I always do like to place it on the chart first, just so that you can see what it is that I am referring to at this time and follow along with me. So let me do that now. This video is for the full moon in the sign of Aries, which occurs on Wednesday, October 20th, 2021. And that's what this chart is set for. We've got the sun here in Libra, 27 degrees, and we've got it exactly opposite here, the moon at 27 degrees Aries. And when the sun opposes the moon, that is what is considered a full moon. Now, what are full moons all about? Full moons are all about really stepping into something that we've been working towards for quite some time and bringing it to its fullness, right? A full moon, bringing something into fullness. Not only is a full moon about that, but usually it's also about illuminating something, bringing something to light or to understanding that we didn't see or know before, especially because a full moon too is when the moon is brightest in the sky. So there's a lot of that. Another thing too I should note is that full moons a lot of times as well are about decisions, since they are a function of an opposition, and oppositions do indicate decisions, right? Because you can't do two opposite things at once. So I think that's another thing that is going on here at this time. Okay, what exactly are we stepping into more fully or starting to illuminate and understand and make more informed decisions about Aries? What is Aries about? Well, Aries is a Mars ruled sign, and Mars does have to do in a lot of ways with ourselves and our instincts and our impulses that just come more naturally to us as a part of who we are. Not only is Aries in a lot of ways about our natural instinct and impulse and sense of self in some way, but it's also about our actions, how we act and how we do things in life. Okay, another thing I should note too is that Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Here it starts the whole dang thing. All right, and because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, it also, to me, does tend to bring new ways. So not just regular old impulses and instincts, especially not at this time in the astrology, and not just regular old ways of doing things, but new ways of acting, new ways of doing things, new instincts, new impulses, a new sense of self. And that to me is what's going on. We are, to put it together, we are stepping more fully at this full moon into a new sense of self, new instincts, new impulses, new ways of doing things and acting from here on out. Not only are we stepping more fully into all of that, but again, full moons are about illumination, understanding things. We're starting to understand better what the new way is, the new person that we're becoming and the new way of being and acting that is now required of us as we move forward. And we also too, full moon, are making decisions, are making better choices, I think, as well, about what we need in order to facilitate more of a different identity and impulse and instinct and way of acting from here on out. Okay, I should also note as well that Aries is a fire sign, and which is very passionate, if you will, especially with Aries being ruled by Mars and being the first sign of the zodiac. And full moons do tend to be very intense times as well. So not only is this full moon here about us stepping more fully into a new sense of self with a new instinct and identity and way of being and acting in the world and getting more understanding about that and making decisions accordingly in order to facilitate that, but it is also about a heckload of passion and fire and excitement and drive accompanying that here as we maneuver these things. Okay, not only is it about that. But I also want to note too that we could be feeling more passion than we have in a long time here with some of the stuff going on in the astrology. So not only are we getting a heckload of like passion and excitement and motivation and drive at this full moon, but it could be a huge dose of that we have not felt, I think, to this caliber in recent memory. So please do note that. All right. And I think that's all that I want to say for now about this full moon in general terms. Because that's all I want to say there, I'm just going to go backwards in time for a moment before I move forwards into more of the specifics. I want to go backwards in time so that you can see more of the context of this full moon and of how we got here and of why this is now a thing that's coming up to be felt, experienced, and worked through. And to give you the context, I actually want to go back here to the last solar eclipse a few months ago. It was June. It was June here of this year, 2021, somewhere here in Gemini. All right, I want to go back to that solar eclipse because solar eclipses start cycles that last for at least 6 months, but for many times, many months and years after that. So that's why we're going to go back there. What was that new moon solar eclipse about in Gemini in June of 2021? In my opinion, it was about us beginning to get more familiar, Gemini, with some new, different, and better chapter in life that started to arrive in the few months prior to June of 2021. Okay, not only was it starting to us starting to make some new chapter in life more familiar, but it was also about us starting to adapt and adjust to it more. Okay, and I do believe that in June we did that. Because we were able to do that, we then now get to July 2021 when we have a new moon in Cancer right about here. What was that about? Well, Cancer is a lot about our foundation in life and grounding something. So what that means to me is that in July 2021 of this year, we then started to ground and build a more firm foundation for a new chapter in life that had recently arrived that we were making more familiar and adapting to. And I do believe that we did that. Because we did that, we then get the next new moon here in August of 2021, right here in Leo. What is that about? Leo is about joy and happiness and pleasure and life. So in August of 2021, I believe we then tried to figure out how we can be happy, truly happy, and truly love and enjoy and feel pleasure in this new chapter in life that recently started to arrive that we're adapting to and grounding in. And I do believe that somewhere around that time in August, especially around that full moon, which was in Aquarius, I also believe the end of August of 2021, we got some major insights and realizations about all the things we would love to do in life that would make us feel much happier, much better, and much stronger. Okay, as a result of that, we then, at the next new moon here in September of this year, 2021, I guess I don't need all these 21s, but the next new moon in September here that we had in Virgo, we then tried to take all these passions and excitement and do them on the day to day, because Virgo is a lot about our daily habits and our routines. Okay, we then tried to take this passion and really do it more regularly on the daily, things that we like to do and things that are better for us and things that are more fun and things that are easier. But as we tried to do that in September, we started to run into some roadblocks preventing us from making that happen. Why did we run into some roadblocks? Because Mercury went retrograde in the sign of Libra somewhere also in September. Okay, which brought some issues. What were our roadblocks that came up in September? Mercury and Libra. Well, Libra is an air sign. Our thoughts, a lot of our thoughts were blocking us from being happy in a new chapter in life. Our thoughts were blocking us from being happy in life because we were still stuck in old hard chapters of life and guilt and shame and didn't believe we were worthy of happiness, and we're still trying to overly logic and justify things as we move forward. Not only was that one of the roadblocks, but another one of the roadblocks was relationships, with Libra being a relationship sign. We were worried that if we did what made us happy, that we would upset people, or that people wouldn't let us do it, or that we would get in arguments with people. That was also preventing us from doing these necessary things for us to move on. Not only was that the issue, but with Libra being about balance, we were also worried about the division of our time and resources and all of that getting out of balance and out of whack as well. That was hard for us. And because those were the roadblocks stopping us from moving forward, it was very hard for us to have a happier way of life. that we've been trying to get to. And because we had these roadblocks, we then got the next new moon here, which I do believe was in October here in Libra of this year. And at that new moon in Libra 2 weeks ago, in October of this year, we then realized I can't keep having these roadblocks. I can't keep letting my relationship stop me from doing these things I know I need. I can't keep letting my thought processes stop me. And I can't keep being worried about balance being an issue. I have to fix these things. And I believe that over the course of the past 2 weeks, we have done that. We have fixed some things with relationships that weren't working for us, that were stopping us from being happy, and our thought processes, and with our division of time and resources. And because of that, we now get to this full moon in Aries, October here, which this video is for. And and Aries is a lot about passion, excitement, and doing things in a new and different way. So we finally get to this full moon in Aries in October, where we start to feel like we've got more freedom now to be a new person and to do things in a new and different way without the old stuff bringing us down and without these blockages keeping us stuck anymore. Okay, and that's it. Right, and because that's it, I'm now just going to repeat all of that one more time before I move forward. So let me do that now. What I think has been going on over the course of the past few months, that is the context of this time period, is that we've been trying to step into a new and different chapter of life and ground it and feel happier in it. And we've recently overcome all of the roadblocks preventing us from doing that, so that now we can be more free to be ourselves in a new chapter in life, or to form a new different sense of self and a new way of behaving in a new chapter in life that's going to allow us to move forward and to start to bring more of our energy and motivation back as we move on. Okay. Yeah, and that's it. We're finally, maybe just say it again, we're finally feeling like a new person in a new chapter in life with a new way of doing things and with a more clear shot to be happy and to enjoy life and to do what we love, which is bringing more energy and more motivation back than I think we've had in a very, very long time prior to this. Okay. Now that I've given you the big picture and the big context of this time period, I just want to go inwards now to give you a little bit more details about this energy and about how it's going to play out as we move on. Okay, and to do that, I'm now going to talk more about the specific aspects that this full moon is making, and that's going on around it. I think the aspect in particular, I think I want to start light. I want to start positive. So the things I'm going to talk about first here is that Mercury has just recently gone direct right before this full moon happened, as well as both Jupiter and Saturn. These are in Aquarius while Mercury is in Libra. What is that about? Well, this to me is also about more clarity, with Mercury now being direct, starting to come about ourselves, yes, and also about our relationships and how we work with people and what's been going on, our dynamics in relationships that maybe haven't been that great. Not only is this more clarity about that, it's also more clarity about our division of time and resources with the Libra influence, and also about how we need to think about our life from here on out. So I'll say this to bring it all together now. Let me bring it all together. We come into this full moon here feeling like a new and different person with a new way of doing life that allows us to be happier now that we've dropped a lot of baggage and fixed a lot of things. And that is bringing us now more clarity about ourselves, our relationships, our time, our resources, and our thought processes, and how we can bring that stuff together. Okay. In addition, we've got Jupiter and Saturn here direct in Aquarius, and Aquarius is a lot about freedom and authenticity, to be ourselves and to pursue a future that is better for us. So not only do we come into this full moon here feeling like a different person, more energy, more mojo, more clarity about so many things in our life, but we also feel more free here to be ourselves and to do things that are more authentic to us, especially more long-term over time, with Aquarius having to do again with our future goals. Here, I also see Aquarius too about possibility and opportunity. So we also start to feel as well like new possibilities and new opportunities are now beginning to open up more to us. Okay, in addition to that, we also get to Mars at this full moon making a square over here to Pluto in Capricorn, and the moon, I should note, is also in this opposition and square as well. What is that about? Well, to put this positively, this is also about major passion. We've got Mars involved, the ruler of the full moon, here connecting to Pluto, which to me is a lot about our deepest wants and desires and drives. So another thing that's going on here is that, yeah, this full moon, we're feeling like a new person, a new way of doing things. We've got a lot of clarity, a lot of freedom, a lot of new possibilities and opportunities, and extreme. I'm going to say extreme. Not just major passion and drive. This is making it extreme passion and extreme and drive now here in order to continue being new and different and to continue doing more of what we want and enjoy, and to sealing the deal on that as we move forward. Not only is this bringing continued increased major passion and drive, but this is also too bringing major shifts. Pluto has to do with change, major shifts within our soul. Yes. Pluto can be very emotional, but also I think within all aspects of our lives, our relationships, our money, our time, and our resources as well. We're also experiencing major shifts within that to break everything loose towards this new way of life and this new sense of self that's happier and better that we're now stepping into. Okay. I do like this. I should note, I do like this. And for some of us, Mars square Pluto is going to be extremely helpful. For some of us, Mars square Pluto is going to help you to not only feel like you've done a lot of work and a lot of things are changing and you're a new person, but to also make more changes in life that you need in order to fix things that aren't working for you. Okay. And to do it with more direction, if you will, more direction too, right? With the Jupiter and Saturn being direct. Okay. But even though for some of us, this Mars square Pluto in particular can bring great feelings of success and celebration, I think, and happiness over what we've achieved in the past, and bring great motivation and drive for what more needs to be changed in order to step into a new identity. For others of you, I should note this is a bit of a hard alignment. All right. Mars square Pluto to me is like one of the hardest alignments you can get in astrology, especially because Mars and Pluto are considered malefic planets by the ancient astrologers and are very intense. So for others of you, this could go a different way. For others of you, instead of you receiving increased success within your endeavors to fix old things, the Mars square Pluto could bring very overwhelming feelings and an awareness of things in your life that still have not been worked out. Especially too, because Pluto can sometimes get a deep understanding of things. This can bring a big awareness of things in your life that maybe were still not fixed properly from the past few weeks, or that still need to be fixed, that haven't been fixed, or that still aren't where they need to be here. That could then bring a little bit of the frustration, again, with both the Mars and the Pluto, especially with Mars being the planet of war and also being the ruler of this full moon in Aries. So to say it again, for some of you, this full moon is going to be beautiful, feeling a massive change within your soul to be new and different, and making a few more moves here to finish the change. Not to finish the change is not going to be finished, but to get more things together. And others of you are going to be feeling a new and different person coming into the picture, but still some things holding you back. Still some things holding you back that are not exactly where they need to be, even if they are moving forward in some way, and increased awareness about that. Okay, that could be uncomfortable. Not only may some of you experience an increased awareness about that might make you uncomfortable, but then you could also experience with the Mars and the Pluto increased frustration about that too. Increased frustration, increased impatience, because Mars is a bit impatient and so is Aries. Increased impatience about like, why isn't this stuff fixed? Why isn't this stuff fixed? And why isn't this where it needs to be? And I told this person to do this and they're still not doing that. It can bring increased frustration around that, and possibly even some anger and arguments with other people in particular who haven't been fallen into line in the ways that it is that we might need. Okay. And for those people who are feeling like some of the work hasn't been done and things haven't been fixed fully in the ways that it is that they need, and are now angry and frustrated, not only could there be arguments, but there could also be still some kind of weird approach to fixing these things, especially with Mars now in Libra. Mars still in Libra, a sign it doesn't like to be in, and Venus here in Sagittarius making a hard trine over here to Chiron in Aries. So for those of you who are realizing that something still ain't right fully for you to be different and have more freedom, not only may you be frustrated and angry, but you may act out in weird ways. You may do too much too fast. Venus in Sagittarius, right, is about excess. Do too much too fast to fix these things that aren't right. That could be overwhelming. Or you could still hesitate a little bit with the Mars and Libra. It could be either ends of the spectrum. That could be a bit hard. Not only that, but then you may have some difficult conversations with Mercury still kind of hanging around in opposition to Chiron. So it could definitely spiral downwards a little bit. And for those of you who are getting that experience of this full moon, which is very possible, I'm going to give you very similar advice to what I gave you at the new moon in Libra 2 weeks ago. Okay. And that is for those of you who are very frustrated and are now experiencing, frustrations that things aren't really where you need them to be in order to experience this new sense of self. There is a need here to not give up, not stop. You need to get a new sense of self. You need to forge your way into new territories, to be different and to have relationships be different in the ways that you need, and to have your time and your resources be different. Okay. You need to not stop doing it. Okay. But just finesse the way you do it a little bit. Finesse the how you do it, to do it in a little bit more of a diplomatic way, and a little bit more of a gentle way, and a little bit more of a compassionate way in order to move forward, because how you do something matters. When it comes to who you're working with and what that's going to be like. Okay. Especially too, because Mars, the ruler of this full moon, is still in Libra, right? If Mars were in another sign, if Mars were in Aries, I would say piss people off, do what you gotta do, piss people off, be selfish, whatever, but Mars is in Libra, the ruler of this full moon. So no, there is still a little bit of a diplomatic tone that needs to be had here in order to bring things together. Okay. Not only that is my advice still, but my advice still is also be compassionate to yourself too, as you figure these things out, and compassionate to other people. So yeah, try to temper your approach, not to stop doing what you need to do. You need to fix the stuff, not to stop doing it, just to temper it. And if you can't temper it, to forgive yourself, to be kind and compassionate towards yourself and your mistakes, and forgive yourself, and to be kind and compassionate towards other people whose approach is also not that refined either. Okay, because that is going to help you to more fully figure these things out in the way it is that you need. Okay. So that you can continue to move on into this different experience of life, away from all this hard stuff of the past. And I think that's it, right? Because that's all that I want to say, I believe, right now in the video in terms of these aspects. I'm just going to repeat that one more time. So I'm gonna do that now. What I think is going on at this full moon is that we are stepping more fully into a new identity and a new way of doing things in life that supports more of our happiness and our fun and our joy and our rest and our ease, which is bringing a lot of passion within our soul and a lot of motivation. Okay. And a lot of, clarity about some things and about what's next. Okay. And for those of us who are feeling good with what we've been doing over the course of the past few weeks, this new sense of self and this increased motivation and passion is going to help us to change and to fix even more things in our life that are not where they need to be for this new sense of self, to make things even better than what they have been and to beeline straight for them. And for those of us who maybe aren't as pleased with the progress we've been making so far and are still feeling a bit stuck in our lives, this full moon can bring extra drive and frustration and perhaps impatience even, in order to finally fix these things that still are not where they need to be, which can bring some big arguments yet again and some weird responses yet again that may just need to be watched and tempered a little bit as you move forward in order to get the best result as you move on. Okay. And I think that's it. The thing that, just to say a few other words, the thing that stands out to me about this full moon in Aries is that I do see vastly different interpretations here for people. As you can kind of already tell, the one interpretation of this full moon is that some of you are going to love it. Like, I really do believe that some of you are going to love this full moon in Aries, and you are going to feel like free for the first time in a long time to do what you want to do and to be who you want to be and to have fun and to try new things. And you're going to have so much motivation to move forward, and it's going to help you very quickly, very, very quickly, to fix things that need to be fixed, more things in service of who you want to be, to move you forward and to make more beautiful changes that I think are going to be really, really, really nice, and to clean up a lot of stuff from the past and get more clear on what's next. Okay, some of you are totally going to experience that, and I see another group of people who's going to get a little bit of the opposite. I'm going to see another group of people who really wants to be a new person and really wants to do things in a new and different way that's easier, but is feeling like there's something still in the way and there's something still blocking it that needs to be addressed immediately. And that's going to feel very frustrated and very upset here, and maybe act out in weird ways that could cause arguments that, again, right, are going to need to be they're going to need to be tempered in order to get the best result as you move forward. So there's that. I should also note too that not only is there the extremes, and I definitely feel like there are extremes this full moon. The Aries will kind of do that to you. I should note that there can be shades of gray. So there are some of you that will be in between, where you are feeling good, a new sense of self, a new way of doing things, but there's something that's still in the way, that's keeping you stuck, that's like a little annoying, that you still kind of have to deal with, that is like a thing you got to work around. So I should also note too, there could be people in between, although I do feel very strongly that there are going to be extremes at this time. Okay. I should also note as well that these extremes, this isn't always the case, but I did want to note that those people who are experiencing extremes, it could definitely be a result of what happened over the course of the past 2 weeks prior to this and that new moon in Libra, and even months prior, and who you're dealing with, you know. So those of you who really didn't make necessary fixes over the course of the past 2 weeks, or didn't do them properly, may be frustrated this week because you got to do more fixes, or you got to refix the fixes, right? You got to redo the fixes you thought you fixed in order to bring things together. And now things are more of a mess. So that could be the case. Or those of you who are just dealing with more difficult people in general, like, could have extra problems this week. And those of you who've been fixing things for a long time in your life, especially the past 2 weeks, this might be easier. So I also want to note that as well, that there are multiple ways this can go. Definitely an extreme positive, an extreme bad, and somewhere in between. And a lot of what might determine what flavor you get might be based on who you're dealing with and on what was done prior. And if the work was done prior, this might be a tad bit more easy for you to maneuver in the ways that it is that you need. Okay. Another thing that I want to say here before I pull your card is that this full moon is bringing a lot of passion here to loosen a lot of old things up in our life. It doesn't feel new, okay? This to me doesn't feel like a full moon giving us a lot of passion to get a whole bunch of new things we don't have. Full moons are really about endings and about old things, and the new stuff is more new moon in Scorpio, solar eclipse in Sagittarius, coming up in the next month or two. So I also want to note, this doesn't really feel like major passion to get new things. This still feels like major passion to fix a lot of old things, and some of the old fixes you're going to have a better time at than others, okay? I want to be clear about that. I also want to note too that this extreme passion that we are now getting is not only like, is just a taste I'm starting to feel of what is going to come, next month after the new moon in Scorpio. And I think for parts of December and maybe even into January and February of next year. Okay, this extreme passion and excitement, just a taste, right? Just a little bit of what is to come over the course of the next few months, kind of gradually here as well. Because I think over the course of the next few months, if you will, we're going to get more passion to get things done, and things are just going to get easier and better than they have been before. And I think that this full moon is like kickstarting that process, so that that can eventually occur and things can get a lot easier, especially too as Mars and Venus come into a conjunction with each other. You know, Mars is the ruler of this full moon. And Mars and Venus have a special relationship to each other, being like the masculine principle and the feminine. So I think that this is just the beginning. The passion that we're having is just the beginning of more of that to come, even though it may not fully come until Mars and Venus make their official conjunction, which is like January of next year or something like that. Okay. I know that Mars and Venus, I should note, made a conjunction in Leo already a few months ago, but Venus had not gone retrograde since Mars had. So I think that the Mars-Venus in January, February is going to be more important. Not only that, but Mars and Venus are going to make a conjunction where Pluto was and Saturn all of COVID, all of 2020. So I think that's going to be more significant. So that to me is why that is more of a significant turning point there. But we're getting there. We're getting there very soon to more of our energy, our drive, our passion, our motivation, and the masculine sides of ourself, like getting better or getting more certain of itself and of what to do and more effective, if you will. Okay. So that's what I'll say, because I'm feeling that the last 2 months of the year, now I don't feel these next 2 weeks. Okay. I feel like October 20th to November 4th are going to be passionate, but still a little bit interesting, a little bit overwhelming, a little bit restricting, if you will. But it's really November, the middle of November into December. I feel like a lot of exciting, a lot of interesting things. Maybe that's the best way to put it, are going to go on, which are going to stir a lot of things up. And this is the beginning of that. But before things can come in November and December to stir things up, we need to clear more things out of the way. And so I think there's that. We're making a lot of moves here and a lot of passion to fix and clear up more things so that in November and December and January, you know, we can get more new things and shake more things up and bring more things together in our life that we need. But we got to clear out this old stuff first. Okay. Now, you know what I like to do? I like to look at your inside degrees. So let's take a quick look at that. The inside degrees are descriptions written for each of the degrees of the zodiac. I did not personally write them. They were channeled from spirit by someone else named Elias Lonsdale, but I always like to read them here just to give you more insight into what this new moon is about. And to give you someone else's thoughts or opinions. So I'm going to look at that. I'm going to look at both 27 and 28. And I'll start with Aries 27. I should note too that the full moon in Aries is at 27 degrees. So that's what we're going to go with first. It says this: the playground of the world is both wide open and oddly synchronistic. Anybody can go anywhere and do anything, but sometimes you come up against yourself no matter where you look, and you meet your shadows and delusions coming back at you in every form you are desperate to deny. So what that means to me, maybe I should say this, what that means to me is that there's one group of you that definitely is going to be having a very hard time with that energy. And this. You may meet your shadows and delusions coming back at you in every form you are desperate to deny. That could be very, very hard here. I might also say too that for those of you who are getting the harder aspect of this full moon, it could be because there's something you're not seeing about yourself that you haven't been doing correctly or have been avoiding or hasn't been happening that might need to be worked out here as well. So there's that. A frenzy pursues stimulus, entertainment, distraction, and diversion. The world arena turns into a hysterical proposition of thematic echoes, making the whole journey too obvious, too direct, and too brutal. The only postponement tactic left is to devise whole worlds of self-justification, self-vindication to harbor you just long enough. Okay, so I'm going to say that this is going to resonate for some of you, not for all of you. For some of you who are having a really hard full moon experience, this is your degree. And I think it's happening, if I can just be real blunt, why not? Why not? At a full moon in Aries, something you've been postponing. There's something you've been postponing. There's something you haven't been doing. There's something you're not seeing. There's something you're denying just to play it safe, just to have fun. And it is time to get serious now to figure things out. Okay. So hopefully that'll help some of you. And I liked Aries 28 for those of you who are having a good experience of this full moon. Okay, so let's read that one. Aries 28 says the soul's journey is absolutely endless, and you sense throughout that journey that somebody is watching. The greater dynamic is at work here, and you live into the ultimate aspect from the beginning. You simply know that your destiny must and will be fulfilled. There is a higher vibrational inside track that accompanies each step, every phase. And you can read the rest. So some of you are Aries 27. Something hasn't been fixed here in your life that's creating problems and now is coming to a fever pitch that you're going to have to come to terms with and fix the best way that you can, or else be lost in a spiral of self-justification here and self-vindication. And there's another group of you, Aries 28, that's going to feel like the greater dynamic, a higher power, the angels, the spirits are working with you now to finally start to help you create something better in your life and free up some space for even more new and exciting things to come down the line that are going to be really important for you. Okay. And also, look, it also says this: all of the vital agitations only serve to quicken the pace, to bring you back on spiral to that vital place again. So I should also note too that the group of you that's getting the good is going to start to feel things quicken a little bit here in your life, and more of that vital part of your soul, your mojo return, that I think is meant to be helpful. Okay. Anything else that I want to note? I want to note a personal note that I'm freaking excited here, because I will say that the past year for me has been a little bit slow for me. Just really every time I try to do something this past year in my life, like I just can't finish it. I just can't follow through, or it just doesn't work out, or things just don't happen in the way that I might like. So I'm ready for some Aries to kick things into gear over the next few months. I will say that. Just me personally. Now your card for this time period is the Empress upright, which is very good. What do we have at the bottom of the deck? Oh man, this is such a weird card to get. Based on what I've just said, this is the Eight of Wands reversed. Okay, how do I want to say this? The Empress to me upright is about creation of something new and different, giving birth to something new and different, which I really think we've been doing for a long time. And this to me indicates that we are at this full moon kind of birthing a new way of life and what's a different way of being, and we're feeling very fertile. I also see this as a card of like fertility as well. But paired with this card, the Eight of Wands reversed, there could be, for some of us now, I don't think this is for all of us, I really don't. For some of us, there could be some delays as we go about creating a new sense of self. And these delays are going to need to be dealt with. These things in the way are going to need to be dealt with that may slow you down temporarily, but are going to help you go faster, more long term. So we're all creating something new, different, better, more fertile, more fruitful for us from here on out at this time. But some of you, not all of you, some of you are going to have big delays that are going to need to be dealt with first, that may slow you down over the course of the next 2 weeks, but eventually are going to help you go faster in November and December and onward. So deal with those things so that they're not lingering. We've also got the King of Cups here reversed at the bottom of the deck, which is a lot about lacking emotional control. So what that means to me is that those of you who are experiencing delays to the creation process or the birthing process or whatever, you may need to get some of your emotions in check here and be a little bit more sensible so that you can go about handling things in the best way possible and not get thrown back into this old drama that you've been trying to escape for quite some time. Because if you can do that, look at this celebration, the Six of Wands, celebration and success is very, very possible. So that's it. I think that's all I want to say for now. Although I should note the next few moons are going to be pretty big because we are going into eclipse season very, very soon. So handle everything now that needs handling to kind of clear up space so that over the course of the next few months, whatever crazy stuff transpires, perhaps unexpectedly, you've got the room now and the bandwidth in order to finally handle it and finally work with it. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you all have a great full moon. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you on the next one 2 weeks from now at that new moon in Scorpio, Thursday, November 4th. Bye.